Good morning, students. Today we will see about an ultrasound. So basically, what is an ultrasound? So sound is basically defined as a periodical mechanical disturbances of an elastic medium such as air. Sound required such medium for transmission, and without transmission, it can be crossed by a vacuum. So ultrasound basically is referred as mechanical vibration, which are essentially same as sound waves but in higher frequency. As we know, basically that human have some hearing range. Human ear can hear up to 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz of frequency can be heard by you and me and our ear. But the ultrasound which has been used for the therapeutic or physiotherapeutic purpose have a range more than 20,000 hertz. Okay, so basically it is more than 20,000 hertz which cannot be audible by our normal human ear. Clear? So such kind of waves can be used for the certain amount of physiotherapeutic and diagnostic procedures. What we use for the therapeutic purpose is basically range from 0.5 megahertz to 5 megahertz. But in routine practice of day-to-day practice, we use 1 megahertz and 3 megahertz of ultrasounds. Okay, so basically we have to see how this production of ultrasound has been done. Before that, we will see certain amount of parameters which is used for a physiotherapy parameter as a ultrasounds. Number one, we will see the wavelength. Second, we will see the frequency. Third one, we will see the velocities. Depends on the physical natures of the medium from where we are passing. So basically, ultrasound production is happening because of when the electric energy has been passed to certain crystals, and which producing the converting this electric energy into mechanical energy and producing the ultrasounds, which can be used for the different therapeutic purpose. So for that, we have to look for how this Capriform flat can be seen, which I already sent you a PDF in which you will be able to see how this production will be done. We will see first there are basically a production can be done with the effect of piezoelectric effect, or we also call as the there are two effects. One is a piezoelectric effect and other is a reverse piezoelectric effect. So the production of a small electromotive force across the certain substances being subjected to external pressure such as the piezoelectric substance, or that is also called as the Capriform plate, and because of production of these mechanical waves or vibration due to the application of this EMF producing reverse piezoelectric effect. Many types of crystal can be used, but most commonly used as a quartz, 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 which occurs naturally, and some synthetic ceramic materials such as the barium titanate and lead zirconate titanate has been used. These crystals deforms when subjected to varying potential difference, that is called as piezoelectric effect. It means जब उसके ऊपर piezoelectric के ऊपर जब इलेक्ट्रिसिटी और करंट पास होता है एंड इज प्रोटिंग द converting this piezoelectric potential difference into the piezoelectric effect, or when we are testing the ultrasound head, we are able to see that certain amount of vibration or mind of a movement has been seen in the plate or the head of the ultrasound. That is because of the potential difference has been done. In order to apply the electric charge, metal electrodes must be fixed to a crystals. If suitable metal plate is fixed, then one surface of the crystal while opposite surface in the air, then almost all the vibration energy transmitted from the crystal to the plate and hence solid or liquid which is applied, like what we are using as a ultrasonic gel or a medium to transform the waves in a suitable direction. So this is about how the this ultrasound has been produced from electric energy converting into the mechanical energy and can be used for the different amount of purposes. Now we'll see about how this this ultrasonic gel we are using to transform the waves from the ultrasonic head to the different body parts. So we have a certain amount of this electric ultrasonic gel which content of 63% of water along with a certain amount of petroleum jelly, so which can be provide a great sources to convert or pass the sonic waves from the directly head to the different body structures, and rather than avoiding them to wastage in the air medium. Now how this absorption can be done of the ultrasound? The absorption of this ultrasound can be done. This kinetic energy is converted into the heat energy and it passes through the different materials, that is a ultrasonic gel, and from where the energy will decrease exponentially with distance from the source where it has been fixed, and a certain percentage of initial energy can be converted into the sonic energy as a heat, and which produces the molecular motion. For different kind of tissues we have a penetration length. Like if you see, the absorption of the sonic energy is greatest in the tissue which have a large amount of protein and low amount of water content, okay, and least amount of the, then after that we have a less consumption in the blood, and maximum consumption has been done in the very less consumption is done in the bone. Is it clear? Now we will see how this absorption can be done, that is account for 60 to 80% of the energy lost from the beam or the head, and the scattered energy may be also absorbed other than in the region which ultrasound is applied. Now next thing is scattering. So what is scattering? Is caused by the reflection and refractions which occurs in interface throughout the tissue. This particularly apparent when there is a large difference in the acoustic impedance. Impedance is basically a one kind of an resistance given to this ultrasonic waves, or we can call as the biological resistance. Is it clear? Now we'll see how this intensity can be managed of this transducer head or whatever the produced by the ultrasonic machine. Now we have to see the peak intensity and average intensity. Okay, basically we have two types of intensity. One is a spatial average intensity and other one is a peak intensity. So this peak intensity can be considered as ultrasound output over the area of the transducers, and intensity is usually greater in the center of the beam and lowest in the surrounding area of the beam. It means whenever the head is applied on the periphery it is very less, and in center part it is maximum. So that is considered as the peak intensity. While in average intensity, throughout the area or throughout the head of the ultrasound, the whatever the intensity is produced, it is a same. Now depend on the what kind of requirement or depends on the patient's need, we are modulating this or we are setting the parameters such a way that we can use in the best way. Now one more thing is that is called as BNR, beam non-uniformity ratio. Beam non-uniformity ratio. This ratio is between the peak intensity and average intensity. That is called as the BNR. Is it clear? So normally BNR should be 5:1 when the spatial average intensity is 1 watt per centimeter square, while the peak intensity should be 5 watt per centimeter square. So that is called as the BNR. It will design or it will say you about how exactly your ultrasound machine is working well in order to deliver the ultrasound to the therapist. So now depends on the different manufacturer or different companies. There is we see the how the quality of the ultrasound machine, that is depends on the this BNR ratio, that how much it can produce through the peak part and how it is produced from the central part. So the good qualities or mostly the western countries machines have a good BNR compared to the local one. Now we have to see there are two mode of ultrasound. Number one is continuous mode and second one is pulse mode. So in continuous mode there will be a certain amount of ultrasound will be released throughout the time whatever the treatment time has been set, and in pulse mode there will be in between a certain amount of pause will happen which can have a no direct effect or continuous production of ultrasound will be delivered to the body parts. Now the question will arise that why we have a both pulse ultrasound if we have a continuous ultrasound is there which can be used for a different amount of therapeutic purpose. But just simply that pulse ultrasound has been used for a different purposes, like when you have a continuous exposure of the ultrasound to the different body parts, then you have a one amount of side effect, that is a bony pain, or it stimulate your periosteums, and which have a certain amount of bony pain. To avoid that periosteal pain, we use the whenever we are applying a ultrasound to a particular near the subcutaneous bone or near the joints, so that time we use mostly a pulse ultrasound to avoid the certain amount of periosteal pain. In pulse ultrasound, during the ultrasound only during the portion of the treatment is period, like there is a certain amount of ratios in a different manufacturer, like 1:1, 1:2, 1:5 and 1:8. That is, suppose we are taking 1 second is on and second is off, then same way 1 second is on, then 2 second is off, then same way 1 second is on and 7 second is off, or 8 second is off, depends on the what kind of pulse ratio we has been set. So clear. So now we have seen about how the production of ultrasound has been done and how the delivery has been done to a therapeutic purpose. It's clear. So basically we will revise how the production of ultrasound is basically a sound waves which is more than we cannot hear the human audible here, and that is more than 20,000 hertz, and its range is from in therapeutic purpose 0.5 megahertz to 5 megahertz, but in routine practice we use 1 megahertz and 3 megahertz is the base example base frequency to use for the therapeutic purpose, and we practice them in a two way, like one is a pulse ultrasound and continuous mode and pulse mode, how it is been used, and a certain amount of parameters we seen like an BNR, where the ratio 5:1 has to be maintained, which produce the maximum quality of that particular